Yeah, and then kind of sticking on the same theme, looking at our way too early spring outlook again, just talking through some teams around the state that we think are, bound for a good season here in the spring, or, maybe we're just excited about, whether it's because of their roster or whatever it may be. But, we've talked about quite a few teams the past 2, 3 weeks now, and just continuing to talk about more. What do you guys got?
Yeah, so I mean, like the title of this is the way too early spring outlook, and I'm not sure how this team's going to be, but I'm excited about them. I like a lot of guys on their roster. They went 33-4 last year, and that's Manuka. Um, Went 33-4. They were pretty dominant, as their record speaks throughout the year. But they lose a lot of pieces. They lose Braden Zillis, who's had a really good fall at ISU so far. They lose CJ to Kinga, who was a Super 60 participant last year. He's at Michigan State. Isaac Goddard's at Aurora. Carter Lennington was a really good catcher for them. He's now at Lincoln Land. So there are a ton of pieces they still need to, figure out and get in on, and I think time will tell with this club, but they are a club that always has talent. They're always going to compete. And one of the reasons I really like him is Zane Caves on the mound. He's also committed to Michigan State. He is a three-sport athlete, but he's 6'5", 6'6", left-handed, and I think this could be his real coming out party this spring. Stepping up as like the real true ace of that staff. Another guy that we've been catching some buzz on is Logan Mackin. I hope I'm saying that name correctly, but he's supposed to have an impact on the mound. Cam Rujewitz and Connor Powers as well should impact them, from a starting rotation standpoint. And then as position players, I mean, we'll see, but Rhett Harris is a physical right-handed bat that should be either, DH, first base. Howie Porath is a third baseman, left-handed hitter that we've liked, seen him really good. Jason Duh, I hope I'm pronouncing that one right as well. Like, he's been a long-time varsity contributor. He'll be at second base. Ryan Keener showed really well for us at the Illinois State games this summer. And then they have a couple other names that I'm not as familiar with. So like I said, way too early spring outlook. I like these guys. I'm excited to see what this, season looks like. It may be a transition period or it may not. We'll see, but that's the Manuka Indians is who I'm going with.
I am now going to take Lamont. This is a program that, to me, what stands out is the type of talent it seems that they have at each level, right? The seniors, the juniors, the sophomores. Excited to see what type of depth they're going to continue to develop throughout the year. But like in that 26 class, right, you got Brett Tucker, you got Cannon Madej, you got Grady Garofalo. Then in the 27 class, there's Zane Schneider, who showed well at our state games this last summer. And then a pair of 2028 Southpaw arms that I feel like our entire staff is really excited about are Dylan Jones and Nathan. I'm gonna say Zdenovich. Don't know if I'm right or wrong on that, but to me, and with Jones and Zdenovich, right, they're young guys. Who knows if they're even going to see time at a program as big as Lamont this spring, but two guys that I would think Coach Storaka is really excited about. I think with Lamont, right, they lose a Jacob Parr, they lose a Shea Glotzbach, Matthew DeVoy, so it'll be interesting to see how they replace some of those big pieces they lost, but we were actually hoping to get him on at IHSBCA, and Drew, I think you had a good nugget. He was actually, Coach Storaka was down in Florida because their field was nominated for like best high school field in the country. Drew, I don't know if you want to correct me there, but
No, I think that is correct. I don't know the actual award. I don't know if it was for like the turf, like a natural
okay,
surface field or not. But I saw there's something on social that should be out there that they tweeted out, and it looks like he's accepting an award. So
awesome.
check that out. The Lamont, baseball X handle. There's something on there. It should break it down more than I'm giving it to you guys right now because I briefly saw it.
But regardless, it sounds like I need to get out to a game at Lamont, especially if their field's getting national notoriety. So I know I think a couple of you guys on here have been there and have given it glowing reviews. But that's what I got with Lamont looking ahead at 2026.
I'll hop in here. I'm gonna go with O'Fallon. We talked about them a couple times in a favorite game attended, but they have a really strong roster returning. They lose Connor Blue and they lose a Dane Haraski, and a couple others, but they're returning some big names like Carson Bauer, who's a Drury commit, Ashton Cantu, who's still uncommitted. Sam McCollum's a two-way Drury commit. Anthony Perez is a two-way going to Central Alabama. Braden Robertson's an outfielder who's gotten some time in the middle infield during the spring. He's going to UIS, Illinois Springfield. Cole Becker's an infielder. He's going to Central Alabama. Tyson Filial is a Drury commit, right-handed pitcher, and another right-handed pitcher in Dylan Janetz, who is going to Kaskaskia, who looked really strong in the state games. So a really, really strong 26 group. But then they also have a Landon Dipple, who is a 27, who is up to 82 in the spring. And then they have a couple 28s and Trey Haraski, an outfielder, and right-handed pitcher Will Vanderhayden, who we talked about during that favorite game attended. So a really deep and strong team, not just in the field, but also with the arms that they have. It's going to be very interesting to watch them in the spring.
I am going to pull an audible, a last-minute decision. I'm going to go with Lockport. I just think Lockport, no matter what, is always a team you have to watch for. They have a ton of talent that walks through those hallways every single year. And, I mean, they have a ton of college commits this year. I mean, Martin Kinane and Jack Sheik are both going to Purdue Northwest. Adam Kozak and Connor Ryan are both going to Lewis. Then they got David Kundrak going to St. Xavier, Trey Schaff going to Morton, and then Andrew Satunas behind the plate going to Grand Valley State. I mean, they are just kind of loaded top to bottom. A couple really talented 2027s with Anthony Farina and Austin Wingy, a future gamer for us. So I just think top to bottom, there's depth, there's high-end talent, and that you know they're going to be well coached. And like I said, Lockport is just always a team you have to watch for, and I think they got a nice group this year that can go pretty far.
Yeah, I'm going to go here with Champaign Central. Shout out to Coach Staub this past weekend. He was inducted into the IHS BCA Hall of Fame. I was just looking up his all-time record at Champaign. It looks like he's 506 and 331. And, one thing about Champaign that I've noticed, Champaign Central, I've noticed since doing this is that they consistently are just finding ways to win, 20-plus games a year. And I think no matter what their roster looks like, Coach Staub always finds a way to get those boys ready. And just looking back at their previous records, since 2014, they've won 20-plus games every year since then under Coach Staub. So just some really impressive notes there for the Maroons. But also they bring back Trey Cole this year, John Timmons, Ryan Pipkins, Nick Braultz. They do lose a good crop of seniors that were super impactful for their team the past couple of years. But, I think you always got to feel good about that team. They're always coming in these past, 10 years winning 20-plus games. So I'm going Champaign Central here.